throwaway because my wife knows my main and lurks Reddit like it's her second job. I don't even know how to start this without my hand shaking, so I'm just gonna dump everything and hope it makes sense. I'm M32, married to my wife Emily, F28, for just over 4 years, together for 7. No kids yet, but we were actively talking about trying this year. Like, literally had a note in my phone with baby names. Until 3 nights ago, I would have described our marriage as solid. Not perfect, but stable. We're boring in that married way. Meal prep on Sundays, Costco runs, arguing about which show to watch before falling asleep on the couch. I trusted her completely. That's important to say because now I feel like a complete idiot for it. Emily works in marketing at a mid-sized tech company. Hybrid schedule, lots of Slack, lots of team bonding. About a year ago, she started mentioning a coworker, Jake, 30s? At first, it was normal stuff. Jake said the client hates the color blue, or Jake's so bad at Excel I had to fix his sheet again. I didn't think anything of it. I have female coworkers, she has male coworkers, whatever. Then slowly the name came up more, like a lot more. Jake and I grabbed coffee after a meeting. Jake texted me this hilarious meme. Jake thinks I should go for the senior role. I remember joking once, damn, should I be jealous? She laughed and said, "Oh no, he's basically my work brother." Flag. I know, in hindsight, that was the first red flag. Around the same time, she started changing in small ways that I brushed off. New clothes that were way sexier than her usual style, but only on office days. Being extra protective of her phone, like tilting the screen away from texting or suddenly needing to take calls in another room. Again, I told myself I was being paranoid. I didn't want to be that guy. Our sex life dipped too. Not dead bedroom, but noticeably less frequent. When I brought it up, she said she was stressed, tired, burnt out. I believed her. I picked up more chores, I told her to rest, I tried harder. 2 weeks ago, something shifted. She became distant. Not mean, just emotionally unavailable, like she was somewhere else even when sitting next to me. We'd be on the couch, and I'd say something, and she'd reply a few seconds too late, like she had to switch tabs in her brain. Then came the night. It was raining. I remember that because the sound of it hitting the windows felt weirdly loud. Emily fell asleep early on the couch while we were watching Netflix. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. Once, then again, and again. I wasn't trying to snoop, I swear. I just glanced over to see if it was something urgent because she'd been on call for a campaign launch. The screen lit up. Jake. I can't stop thinking about last night. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might actually throw up on the rug. I just stared at the phone like it was a bomb. My heart was pounding in my ears. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe last night was a work thing. Maybe I misread it. Then another message popped up. Jake, I know we said we'd be careful, but I miss you already. I felt cold, like all the blood drained out of my body. My hands were shaking so badly I had to sit on them. Emily was asleep, curled up under a blanket, breathing softly. My wife, the woman I trusted with my life. I unlocked her phone. Yes, I know, invasion of privacy. I don't care. I would do it again. What I found, I don't even know how to describe it without feeling sick. Months of messages, flirting that escalated into sexting, explicit, detailed, photos, voice notes, plans, inside jokes, complaints about me, complaints about our marriage. One message from her dated 3 months ago is burned into my brain. Emily, sometimes I wish I'd met you before I got married. Another, being with him feels like pretending. With you, it feels real. I had to cover my mouth to keep from making a sound. Tears were just falling, silent, uncontrollable. I kept scrolling even though every part of me was screaming to stop. They were references to hotel rooms, to that night at the conference, to how guilty she felt after, but how she couldn't give him up. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This was a full-blown emotional and physical affair. I didn't confront her. I couldn't. I locked the phone, put it back exactly where it was, and went to the bathroom.
I sat on the edge of the tub for maybe an hour, just staring at the wall, while my entire reality collapsed. The next morning, she kissed me goodbye like everything was normal and said, "Love you." I almost laughed. I've been functioning on autopilot since then, going to work, eating without tasting anything, smiling when she talks. Inside, I feel like I'm screaming nonstop. I don't know what to do. Do I confront her now? Do I gather more evidence? Do I talk to a lawyer first? I feel stupid, angry, heartbroken, and weirdly embarrassed all at once. If you've been through this, please tell me how you survived the first few days, because right now I feel like I'm barely holding it together.
Time passed since last post, 4 days. First, I want to say thank you to everyone who commented and DM'd me. I read everything, even the harsh stuff, especially the harsh stuff. A lot of you told me not to confront her immediately, to gather evidence, to protect myself legally. I tried, I really did. But living in the same house, sleeping next to her, pretending everything was fine while my chest felt like it was being crushed, I couldn't do it. The last 4 days felt like 4 years. I barely slept. Every time Emily's phone buzzed, my body went into fight or flight. I started noticing everything, how she smiled at her screen, how she angled it away from me, how she'd suddenly remember one more email and disappear into the bedroom. On day 2, while she was in the shower, I took photos of the messages, all of them. My hands were shaking so badly that a couple came out blurry. I had to sit on the bed afterward and breathe through a panic attack. I saved everything to a hidden folder and emailed copies to myself, like several of you suggested. That felt surreal, like I was playing a character in someone else's nightmare. By day 4, I was a raw nerve. I knew if I didn't confront her, I was going to break in some irreversible way. So I waited until after dinner. The house was quiet. No TV, no music, just the hum of the fridge and the rain again, because apparently the universe loves symmetry. Emily was loading the dishwasher, humming softly, completely unaware that my world had ended because of her. I said her name, Emily. She turned, smiling. "Yeah?" My voice came out calmer than I felt. "We need to talk." Her smile faded just a little. "Okay? About what?" I swallowed. My mouth was dry. "About Jake." The color drained from her face so fast it was almost impressive. "What about him?" she asked, but her voice had gone tight. I pulled out my phone. Please don't insult me by pretending you don't know." She stared at me, then at the floor. There was a long pause where the only sound was the dishwasher finishing its cycle with a sad little beep. Finally, she whispered, "How much do you know?" That question broke something in me. "How much do I know?" I repeated. "I know you've been sleeping with him. I know you've been telling him you wish you weren't married to me. I know you booked hotel rooms. I know about the conference. So yeah, Emily, I know enough." She started crying immediately, like full-on sobbing. She slid into a chair and buried her face in her hands. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said between gasps. It started as work, and then I felt seen, and..." I cut her off. Don't give me the "it just happened" bullshit. You made 100 choices." She looked up at me then, eyes red and glossy. "I was lonely." That one stung. "You were lonely? I was right here. I asked you what was wrong, over and over." She shook her head. "You don't understand. With Jake, I felt alive again." I laughed. I couldn't help it. It came out sharp and ugly. "So I'm what, your stability blanket while you go feel alive with someone else?" "That's not fair," she snapped, and suddenly the tears stopped. That switch from crying to defensive was terrifying. "Oh, what part isn't fair? The part where you cheated on your husband, or the part where you came home and kissed me after sleeping with him?" She stood up. "I never meant to hurt you." "But you did," I said quietly. "Every single day." She tried to reach for me, and I stepped back.
Her hand just hung there awkwardly in the air. "Is it over?" I asked. "With him?" She hesitated, just for a second. That hesitation told me everything. I don't know," she said. Something inside me went cold and very, very calm. "I need you to leave," I said. Her eyes widened. "What?" "I need space," I repeated. "Go to your sister's or a hotel. I don't care, but I can't look at you right now." "This is my house too," she said, crossing her arms, defensive again. "And I'm the one who got betrayed in it. So if you have any respect left for me at all, you'll pack a bag and go." She stared at me for a long moment, like she was weighing her options. Then she scoffed, grabbed her keys, and said, "Fine, but don't do anything stupid while I'm gone." The door slammed so hard a picture fell off the wall. I sank to the couch and just sat there in the silence, staring at the empty space where she'd been. I don't know what happens next, but something tells me this is far from over.
I wish I could say things calmed down after she left. They didn't. They escalated in ways I genuinely wasn't prepared for. Emily stayed at her sister's for exactly 5 days. During that time, she texted me non-stop, long paragraphs, apologies mixed with excuses, lots of "I'm so confused" and "I still love you" and "Can we please talk in person?" I didn't respond. I took advice from here and scheduled a consultation with a divorce attorney. That alone felt like admitting a death. Then, on day 6, she showed up unannounced. It was around 8 p.m. I remember because it was already dark and cold, and I'd just finished eating cereal for dinner like a sad cliché. There was a knock on the door, not a polite one, a hard, impatient knock. I opened it, and there she was, eyes red, makeup streaked, holding her overnight bag like a shield. "We need to talk," she said, pushing past me before I could answer. I felt my pulse spike. "Emily, I told you I need space." "I gave you space," she snapped, "and you're just shutting me out. That's not fair." Fair, that word again. She sat at the kitchen table like she still belonged there, like she hadn't detonated our marriage. "I ended it with Jake," she announced. I crossed my arms. "When?" She hesitated, again. "A few days ago." I pulled out my phone. "Funny, because he texted you yesterday." Her head whipped up. "You went through my phone again?" "So you lied," I said flatly. Her face twisted in anger. "You're controlling me," she snapped. "This is why I pulled away from you. You're controlling." That was the moment I realized she was rewriting reality in real time. "I'm controlling?" I said, my voice shaking. "You cheated on me for months. You gaslit me, and now I'm the problem?" She stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. "You're not innocent in this." I stared at her. "Explain, please. I'd love to hear how this is my fault." She opened her mouth, then closed it. No words came out. That's when there was another knock at the door. Sharp, authoritative. We both froze. I opened it to find a police officer standing on my porch. "Sir," he said calmly, "we received a call about a domestic disturbance." Emily's eyes went wide. "I didn't—" The officer looked between us. "Ma'am, did you feel threatened?" She looked at me, then back at him. "I felt unsafe," she said quietly. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. "What?" I said. "I haven't touched you. I haven't even raised my voice." The officer held up a hand. "Sir, I need you to step outside with me for a moment." I did. My legs felt like jelly. I explained everything, the affair, the separation, the argument. My voice cracked when I said I would never hurt her. After a tense 15 minutes, the officer went back inside to speak with her alone. When he came back out, his tone had changed. "She's going to leave for the night, but I strongly suggest you limit contact and go through attorneys." She left without looking at me. The next morning, I was served divorce papers. She filed first. She's claiming emotional neglect and hostile behavior. My lawyer says it's a tactic. I changed the locks that day. I don't recognize the woman I married anymore, or maybe I finally do. And this still isn't over. Time passed since last update, 14 months. I almost didn't write this. Part of me wanted to just disappear from this account and let this chapter of my life stay buried. But so many people messaged me over the past year asking if I was okay, if I survived it, if there was life on the other side. So here it is. The divorce was finalized 8 months ago. It was ugly. Mediation turned into litigation when Emily refused to stop contact with Jake, despite swearing under oath that the affair had ended. My lawyer caught it through phone records. When confronted, she cried in the conference room and said, "I just don't know how to let him go." The judge didn't care. Neither did I. The house was sold. Splitting it felt like dissecting a corpse. Every room held memories. When we signed the final paperwork, Emily looked at me and whispered, "I never thought it would end like this." I replied, "Neither did I. That was your choice." That was the last real conversation we had. She moved in with Jake for about 6 months. I know because mutual friends told me. Apparently, reality hit hard. He didn't want to play house. He wanted the affair version of her, not the real-life consequences. They broke up. Shocking, I know. 3 months ago, she emailed me. Not a text, an email. Subject line, "I'm sorry." She wrote, "I lost everything because I couldn't stop chasing a feeling. You didn't deserve any of it." I stared at that email for a long time. Then I closed it. I didn't respond. As for me, I moved apartments, new city, new routines. Therapy helped more than I can say. So did going NC. I started sleeping through the night again. The constant tightness in my chest slowly faded. A few weeks ago, I ran into her at a grocery store while visiting my old neighborhood. She looked smaller somehow, tired. She said, "You look good." I nodded. "I am." She swallowed. "I'm really trying to be better." I hope so, and I meant it. Then I walked away. I don't feel anger anymore. I feel clarity, and honestly, that's better. If you're reading this while standing in the wreckage of your own life, it won't always hurt like this. One day, you'll wake up and realize the storm passed without you even noticing. And that's when you know you're free.